So I got this shift linkage from Pro Steering Columns. I think it was like 50 or 80 bucks. Comes with the grommet. I see that the grommet has already ripped just from it flexing on it, but again, no big deal. So we'll see. You got your adjustment. The adjustment is not as stout as the factory. Looks like just little grooves, but it should lock down just fine. So we'll see how that goes. It'll be a whole lot better than it is now, I'll tell you that. So I'll put the part number in the description. Comes with a little grommet that pushes down into the firewall. So that's kind of nice. Again, I think it's like 50 or 80 bucks, so we'll see how it goes. This is a ZR2 column shift truck. So what you will have to do is pull the lower trim, and then if you still have your knee bolster, then just zap that out. I've had this column in and out of here so many times I just left it out and just put the plates back in. But you will have to remove your knee bolster. And then down in here, so right at the end of your shift mechanism, go ahead and take the selector loose. Here we go. So you can get this out of the way however you want. I just got it tucked back up here, some loose wiring. You'll need to pull this horseshoe clip out. Just use a pick, whatever, right in the side, and that helps lock it into the collar on the lower column. And then you've just got two squeeze tabs to release it from this. So we'll be back in a second. Oh, and then this, you can just use a pry bar, or if you have a trim fork, and just pop that right off. Actually, since nobody ever shows anything, I figured I just would. So I've got these little electrical clip pliers. Just pop that right out. And of course that went directly in my eye. And in the spirit of showing things here from the top view, here are the clips that you need to remove. So you've got, and you can just look at the new one for reference if need be, but you've got one right here at the bottom, and you've got another one, let's see if you can reach in here, you've got another one right on the top. So obviously with a much larger screwdriver, you can pop one down, and then pop that right up, and that'll release you. And here's what we're talking about on the new one, just for reference. So little clips on either side, and obviously when you push this new one back through from the floor up, that's what'll lock it, and then your horseshoe clip, and you get it. So we'll get that out and then start peeling this carpet up, which of course trim out, seat out, carpet and insulation up, and we'll go back to where that large grommet is. So I didn't bother with my fancy pliers or disconnects. I just used flathead, twisted up that side, just kind of wiggled this side out, and then went from the top and turned the flat blade while I kind of wiggled that, and she will pop right out because that horseshoe clip is not securing either side of that. So it's just these two little clips, and you've got it off the column, ready for the little grommet that holds it to the firewall, and then it'll go under the carpet. So now that we got that disconnected, just pull that grommet out of its little holder right there, and so it'll come back to the carpet. But this is also a good time, because you never can trust a parts store, to double check your part numbers. Just cross-reference them There's quite a few different ones, and a lot of times they'll sell you one that says column shift, and I've seen that it's floor shift model. Now there are lots of supersessions, so different part numbers will supersede and they will work, but for your own peace of mind, you could always cross-reference. That is not a part number. But for some extra, you know, feel good about it, go ahead and do that if you'd like. So here's a factory retainer. Just keeps the cable a little more secured in the grommet itself. And let me see if I can get this grommet out one-handed. They're typically glued in. Oh, this one is not. Cool beans. And there's the top of my trans grommet, or in case I want to make a new hole later. So now we're in even tighter quarters. Yes, I have it on jack stands and a jack and well supported. My issue was with this one is that it wasn't going all the way to park. So the way that I quick fixed it was manipulated the cable to give it as much forward push, and it was fully adjusted. I already kind of pulled this out. But so that it not only had all of its adjustment, that shoved forward as far as it goes and then locked, then I stacked some zip ties to give it the most throw I possibly could get, and I secured it along the way. And that worked for a week or two while I waited for my new part. And I just literally held this sucker nice and tight, so once I had it shifting through all the gears, this worn line, this shift linkage, couldn't bend out of its way, because when you're putting tension on the column shift, it's wanting to do that. Just like fluid pressure in a hydraulic clutch line. I've had a bunch of these things. The clutch master line, under heavy load, just move ever so slightly and catch the headers, and boom, instantaneous fire. Doesn't matter how well you Nomex wrap it and fiberglass heat shrink and everything else. I've had quite a few clutch master lines explode just from flex, and I mean, this being a hard cable, it moves. So we'll get all these zip ties cut out, and well, I can go ahead and do this. So we will come right up here to this boot, and same thing. Boop. Done. On these 4Ls, what I do like to do, I'm not going to on this one right now. Actually, no, I'm not going to. I don't feel like it today. But if you just drill this little stud out, cut it off, drill it out, and just run a nut and bolt. I've been doing that shit for years, and you never have to worry about these failing. Now, this one isn't failed, but I've had a ton of them fail on other trucks. So just the little eyelet, the plastic insert likes to fail. These get worn over time, given this trans is got 5,000 miles on it. So this one's okay, given this gear selector is off the billet build. So this gear selector has something like 45,000 miles-ish on it. But whatever, is beyond the point. You can always just zip that off, knock it out, and just run a nut and bolt. And I know a lot of builders that do that right off the bat anyway. So let's get all these cut off, and then we'll get this released from here, and we'll keep moving. And just for a visual reference, see your horseshoe clip goes right in here to lock it. Down here at the transmission, here's your adjustment. So you've got about 1.5 inches of adjustment factory. So if you do start having issues getting into park, you can slide this cable forward and then slide your clip back in there. It's really hard to do once it's fully out. Don't pull it all the way out. You only need to pull it out a little bit to release it. if you're just adjusting it. Don't pull the horseshoe clip all the way out. There's no need. Yeah. Well, she doesn't want to go back in there right now. But you get the gist. Pull it out a little bit, shove in your adjustment, and then lock that horseshoe clip back up in there. So to release this one, it's going to want to go backwards, and we're going to do the same thing. Squeeze and squeeze, and there's a better view. So we'll push. Is this the tab? I'm trying to look through my phone. Oh, here we go. So got one tab right there, and then another tab on the other. So I may actually use my clip pliers, but who knows? We'll see if I can do it with a screwdriver. I can show you and just do it the regular way for those of you that don't have clip pliers. So what is going to be difficult is getting it out one-handed, but just for reference, let's see if I can't zoom in a little bit. There's your little clip. So we'll push that in, and then I'll probably work this side out and then come back over here. Oh my God, where am I? Come back over here and get this side and push that side in, and we'll just wiggle that sucker right back out. And unfortunately I can't do that one-handed, so I'm gonna have to put the camera down. Okay, so there, I've got both clips released, and now we'll just work it backwards. Oh, I see what happened. That guy spun a little bit. So it's keywayed, and me trying to see through the camera and everything else, it twisted that way. Normally this will slip out a lot easier than that, but I think I have a trick for that. In fact, I know I do. What we'll do, since this one is garbage, twist it right back out. There we go. And there's the keyway that I was talking about, right there. I had accidentally got it a little askew. So anyways, get that clip, and then this side clip is a lot bigger. But then there's that little clip that I showed you here. It's keywayed right there. And actually that trick's kind of neat. Just shove that where the horseshoe clip goes, then you got a good leverage point. So then we'll go back in the reverse order. I'm also going to be doing neutral safety switch real quick, and doing this wiring since mine exploded. And no, that was not from not using a heat gun. You need to use a heat gun when these connectors come out and going back in. GM used silicone, kind of a hot glue. So coming out and going back in, you need to use a heat gun to get both these connectors off. This harness was with one of the last transmissions, and just stayed. And this was a cheapo neutral safety switch that I put on just to see if it fixed my gear selector in the cluster, and it did not. And I meant to change it back, but I also expected this $30 piece of junk to fry. So I think it's been on here for about a year, and it is just falling apart. You can see kind of the glue in there, but that's all right. We're cutting all those off. So what I'm going to do is use that hole that is now in the cab floor right above it to repair this wiring and have a little bit more lead, because this transmission harness goes over the top of the trans under the tunnel, And that's about all the room you have to do any kind of wiring repair on this side. That is fully released from all its clips, and all the zip ties I could reach cut with my arm wrapped all the way around the transmission. So you can see, you can get all of your lines, and I cut all those loose when I replaced all the vacuum lines in this truck last year. So it's just old 25-year-old wiring that just needs to be fixed. So we'll do that. But as far as the transmission shift linkage goes, put it in reverse order. So pop it in here, put your selector back on your selector shaft, click, fish it back up through the floor with your new grommet back here, and reconnect the pedals. Good luck.